Oh my god, I'm getting older and my childhood is disappearing. Let me explain. You're looking at Fantasyland, a family entertainment center located in Massachusetts. It's got a huge mural, amusement park rides, an arcade, and food court featuring fresh, homemade pizza. Let's cut to commercial so you can see for yourself.
Fantasyland, Route 6, Seekonk, your birthday party center. A child will never forget a birthday at Fantasyland. The rides, bumper cars, carousel, airport, Ferris wheel, super slide, the singing bears. Parents can have fun too. Games, prizes, enjoy our delicious homemade pizza.
Fantasyland, an acre of indoor play.
Sorry to hype you up for some fun, because as of 2021, this place is shut down. Yes, if you couldn't tell, Fantasyland is closed. That includes the building and the fairy tale themed mini golf course just next door. But the worst part? No more fresh homemade pizza. Welcome to the abandoned Fantasyland Entertainment Center. I used to go here pretty often with my family, especially for the mini golf. But now, Fantasyland is the leading cause of my current existential crisis. Seeing abandoned places from my childhood isn't new to me, and I've actually documented several after growing up in Rhode Island. Places that are special to me, and maybe you too. So let me take you to a few of them and explain why the closure of Fantasyland is hitting me so hard. There's the Enchanted Forest Amusement Park, Rocky Point Amusement Park, my old middle school, the abandoned McCoy Stadium, and finally, the abandoned westbound lane of the George Washington Bridge in Providence. I remember back in the day driving over this thing and not hitting a minute of traffic. So when I learned that Fantasyland, a place I loved as a child, was abandoned, I thought a couple things. One, am I cursed because this is a wild pattern? And two, what will be next on the list? The Domino's pizza that I used to work at in high school? Actually, let's go check it out real quick just to make sure it's still good. Are you kidding me? Yep, that's it right there, and I am definitely cursed. It's one thing for a place to be demolished or redeveloped, but to actually see places I love decaying in real time is a cool new type of pain. I'm sorry guys, this one got me emotional. So let's talk history, because Fantasyland wasn't always an indoor entertainment center. This 1939 aerial image shows the stretch of land where Fantasyland would be located, right here to be exact. Fast forward to 1962, and it's still an empty lot. But one interesting thing I noticed was the amount of drive-in theaters that popped up on this road over the years, with Bay State Drive-In being the biggest one. Today, those drive-ins are long gone, and this stretch is all commercial and retail property. Crazy how much it changed over here. Back to the 1970s when there's a fresh building on the map. Right here is Bay State Ice Arena, the first business to occupy the site we now know as Fantasyland. This 1973 article outlines the plans for the arena, and that it would be the heart of $1 million sports and recreation complex. This was during hockey's peak in the area, after the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup with Bobby Orr in 1970 and 1972. My point is, hockey was hot and business here was good. So good that the owners brought in talented instructors like the former National Soviet Union coach Yasha Smushkin. And did I end up finding and watching all of his instructional videos online? I sure did. Can I play hockey now? I sure can. Not. As the 70s went on, business slowed, and many ice arenas during this time were being converted into disco roller rinks, which is exactly what happened to Bay State Ice Arena. In 1980, this spot became Star Wheels, an indoor roller skating rink that was exactly how I imagined the 80s being. It had a blue rubber coated floor, flashing lights, and big hair. Star Wheels also hosted competitions, including this one from 1983. In 1990, Robert Andreoli, owner of Star Wheels, constructed Fantasyland Mini Golf right next to the building, taking advantage of the sport's increased popularity. In 1993, Andreoli expanded the Fantasyland name over to Star Wheels, converting the roller rink into a gigantic indoor amusement center. And thanks to this Almax flyer I was able to dig up, Fantasyland's official grand opening was on Saturday, June 12th, 1993. Fantasyland continued to operate here for years under new owner Anton Oliveira, who added rides and updated games to keep things fresh. In 2018, Oliveira partnered with Bateman Amusements to take over facility management and help provide technical and operational consultation. The same Bateman Amusements that owns Spring Lake Arcade in Rhode Island, the oldest penny arcade in the United States, and also a place that I would visit all the time growing up. And good news, it is not abandoned. Anyway, the future was looking bright for Fantasyland until 2020. It was a familiar story during the pandemic, with businesses shutting down and having no other revenue streams. Sadly, Fantasyland was one of them. Of the closing, owner Anton Oliveira said,
"We were mandated to close, keeping the building going. We just couldn't afford it. The mortgage plus all the other rates going up for taxes and Massachusetts mandates, we just could not cope with it. Lots of groups that have come in over the years, 100, 200 at a time, filter out into that large building. It's just great to see people get in there and have a great time. Life goes on, and you have to make the necessary adjustments. I'm optimistic about the future."
As part of the closing and to liquidate all assets, a massive online auction was held to sell every last piece of Fantasyland to the highest bidder. The carousel, bumper cars, fencing, cabinets, literally everything. And the most important and iconic item, the Lincoln Model 1450 pizza oven, which I imagine is living its best life somewhere beautiful. So what does it look like inside Fantasyland now? Well, since everything was auctioned off, it's just a huge empty space with nothing left behind. No more rides, music, or laughter in here. Currently, it's listed for sale as commercial or warehouse space. So the future of this building, which housed so many memories over the years, is still uncertain. But at least everything in here was sold with the intent to bring joy to a new generation of kids. And yes, while I'm sad that this spot and so many others from my childhood have disappeared, I'm still glad that I was able to experience them, because places like Fantasyland are special. Yes, it was a business, but one that couldn't succeed unless people were having fun. So thank you, Fantasyland, for changing my perspective and making me say, "Oh my God, I'm getting older and I'm glad I have these memories." And one more thing, can anyone tell me what's in that Fantasyland za? To see more interesting Rhode Island icons like this and learn about their history, you can check out the rest of my Abandoned from Above series on my YouTube channel right now. Thank you very much for watching.